بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وبه نستعين على أمور الدنيا والدين. الصلاة والسلام على رسوله الأمين سيد الأولين والآخرين حبيبنا محمد وعلى آله وصحابته أجمعين وبعد. Alhamdulillah, tonight, inshallah ta'ala, we are going to talk about one of the most important issues that we are dealing at the moment. And that issue is about human dignity. Al-Karama al-Insaniya. We have seen in the past and in the current, the time that we are living at the moment, people tend to disrespect and to dishonor one another. And so we would like to deal on how Islam deals with human dignity. People judge others on the basis of race, on the basis of economic status, on the basis of ethnic and racial backgrounds. People judge one another on the basis of cultural affiliations, and even foolishly on skin color. All this is a part of disrespecting our human brothers and sisters, because no matter who we are, in terms of human definitions, economically, politically, socially, racially, we're all human beings. And at the end of the day, we are all dignified servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I would like to begin this discussion by quoting a verse from the Holy Quran, a part of that verse basically that I'd like to mention. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Indeed, we have dignified the children of Adam. Now, if you understand the Arabic grammar, in the beginning of this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala emphasized twice as a kind of affirmation. And it says, وَلَقَدْ. It's called lam at-ta'kid. وَلَقَدْ, and indeed, verily, surely, there is no doubt. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, qad. Normally, in the Holy Quran, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the word qad and followed by fi'l madi, past tense, in Arabic, it's also another type of emphasis. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala emphasized twice in terms of karamat al-insani. Wa, la, and then qad, karramna, fi'l madi or past tense. It means surely, there is no doubt that children of Adam are all dignified. But also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says karramna, and he didn't say karramt. What is the difference between karramna wa karramtu? Normally in the Holy Quran also we see that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking something dignified, something honorable, respectful, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in reference to himself, used the word na, nahnu. Of course, this is not plural because Allah is singular. Allah is the only one. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used in Arabic language, and this is the uniqueness of Arabic language, na, we, in reference to dignity, honor, and respect. For example, when you talk about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, وَإِن كُنتُمْ فِي رَيْبٍ مِّمَّا نَزَّلْنَا عَلَى عَبْدِنَا. He didn't say نَزَّلْتُ عَلَى عَبْدِي, because the Holy Quran is related to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who is very highly respected and honorable. إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الْقُرْآنَ, na al-Quran. Why not? Because Holy Quran is honorable. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says karramna, it is another sign of respect and honor. But the word karama itself is dignity. So وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ, verily, indeed, there is no doubt that we have dignified the children of Adam. Al-karama. And then Allah says, Bani Adam, it means children of Adam, without any limit. There is none is excluded. Whether you're African or Caucasian Europeans, white skin, blue eyes, blonde hairs, or curly hairs, or black skin, African, there is no difference. All of them are being dignified in the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why mankind are dignified? Because Allah then explained in the next part of the ayah, فَضَّلْنَاهُمْ عَلَى كَثِيرٍ مِّمَّنْ خَلَقْنَاهُ تَفْضِيلًا. Because we have favored them over many of our creations. In fact, عَلَى كَثِيرٍ, in the interpretation of some scholars, means all of them. It's not only many of them, but it means that every other creation is basically, human beings are more favored than over any other creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's the reason why when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam alayhi salatu wassalam, He commanded the angels to prostrate in respect of Adam alayhi salatu wassalam. فَسَجَدَ الْمَلَائِكَةُ أَجْمَعُ كُلُّهُمْ, that all angels had prostrated in respect of Adam alayhi salatu wassalam. وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَعْلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala next He say, prostrate, respect, honor Adam alayhi salatu wassalam, and every single angel prostrated to Adam alayhi salatu wassalam in respect and honor of Adam alayhi salatu wassalam, because of that tafdil, because of that fadilat, because of that honor, and because of that favor that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to Adam alayhi salatu wassalam and all human beings. But why then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala favor mankind? Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us fadilat over other creations? There are some reasons I'd like to mention. Number one, certainly because we are the best creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. Verily, we have created humans in the best form of creation. And that أحسن تقويم, because of the perfectness of man's creations. Our physical form or shape itself is decided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, هو الذي يصوركم في الأرحام كيف يشاء. He's the one who shaped you, formed you in the wombs of the mother as He likes, not as you like, but as He likes, is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes. So basically, when we are born and we found that our skin is black, it is not because of our intervention. It is not because we intervened to become white or brown or black. It is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yasha, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala willed so we become black or white or brown or any other skin color. هو الذي يصوركم في الأرحام كيف يشاء. He's the one who formed you in the wombs of the mother, including our skin color, the shape of our nose and eyes and other forms in terms of physical forms. But also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then, even He say, صوركم فأحسن صوركم. There's the one who formed you, and he formed you in the best form, in the best shape. You know, there's no doubt that we feel better than physical creation of others. Elephant might be bigger than us. Lion possibly is stronger than us. But it doesn't mean that they are better than us in terms of physical creation. And that is because of the perfectness of man's creation. That is physical. I'm not talking about spirituality. I'm not talking about intellectuality. Because that really makes humans even favored and more dignified and respectful because of spirituality and intellectuality. Our ability to think and our ability to have that iman and faith and others, all these are related to our spirituality. That really makes us distinctive and unique creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because of that best creation, he created us by his hands. And he said, you know, when he created Adam alayhi salatu wassalam, and he commanded the angel to prostrate to Adam to respect him, and Iblis rejected that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked him, مَا مَنَعَكَ أَلَّا تَسْجُدَ لِبَشَرٍ خَلَقْتُهُ بِيَدِي. What really prevents you, Iblis, to respect the man that I created with my hands? Allah used his hands. In other words, that itself represents the uniqueness of the creation of human beings, because Allah created us by his hands. بِيَدِ اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ. But more importantly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala breathed into us out of his own spirit. وَنَفَخْنَا فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِنَا. And we breathed unto him something out of our spirit. And that spirit represents the purity, what we call fitra, fitrat Allah, allati fatara an-nasa alayha. The purity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created man on that basis, on the basis of purity. Allah created that on his purity. And that inherent purity stays forever in us. And that's why Allah says, La tabdila li khalqillah. There is no change in the creation. And the meaning of khalq here is fitrat Allah, that has breathed in us, the nafkh ruh to humanity. كل مولود يولد على الفطرة. Each born humans was born in the state of purity. And that itself emphasizes that everyone has that essence. The essence of purity is in his heart. And that fitra will never change. This one, my brothers and sisters, is very important, because the way we deal with other people must be with that respect. That no matter who that brother or sister is, he or she represents the fitra of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the purity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Possibly at a certain time, they may forgetful of that purity because of the arrogance and ignorance sometimes. People are ignorant and people are arrogant. And because of that, they are forgetful of the existence of purity in their life. But that purity never changed. It reminds us about Fir'aun, la'natullah alayh, when he was drawn into the sea. He was the most arrogant person ever being born to this world, Fir'aun. When he was drawn into the sea, and nobody could help him anymore, he could not help himself. At that moment, he turned back and he said, Now it's time for me to believe in the Lord of Moses, Musa, and Harun. But still, he expressed himself in such arrogant way. He didn't want to say, oh, Allah saved me. He didn't want to say, now is the time for me to return to my Lord. But he said, it's now the time for me to believe in the Lord of Moses, Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, and Harun. Why he connected Allah to Musa and Harun? Because Musa and Harun in his eyes was less than himself. He was the one who took care of Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. So it means that Lord is basically not the highest Lord, because he used to claim to be the highest Lord. Ana rabbukum al-a'la. But my point here that in time that his arrogance become minimized, become lesser, okay, at that time he realized, or he was reminded by his fitrah. This fitrah basically makes every human being dignified. And I think when our Jewish and Christian friends used to say that every human being is created on God's image, possibly that's what they mean. That everyone represents the purity of the Almighty God. So we believers believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has breathed something out of his spirit unto us. And because of that, we have that purity. That essential purity has been there since the beginning of creation. And because of that, we're able to respond positively to the call of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to believe in him as the Lord. Alastu bi rabbikum, and every one of us say, Bala, shahidna. Every one of us say, affirm and confirm that we do believe and going to take Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as our Lord in life because of that purity. This is the next reason why we are dignified as human beings, because we have that purity in our life. The next one is because we are intellectually prepared by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have the capability to think. We have the ability to acquire knowledge. While other creations, they act as it is. All angels are worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time because that's the purpose of the creations. They don't have any freedom to choose. But for us Muslims, for us human beings, we are able to think, utilizing our mind to think. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he created Adam alayhi salatu wassalam, he says, وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا ثُمَّ عَرَضَهُمْ عَلَى الْمَلَائِكَةِ. He taught all the names to Adam alayhi salatu wassalam. And the meaning of teaching Adam all the names means he was prepared to know. He was prepared to intellectually capable, to have brain and to think. There's Adam alayhi salatu wassalam. So we are dignified, we are respectful, we are honorable because we have that unique, criterion that we are the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that can think. Alhamdulillah, Islam had come to remind us about that. So the Holy Quran came down for the first time, Iqra, to remind the man that you have the ability to think. Read means expand your horizon. It's not only reading letters, but it's about thinking. This is the other reason why we are respectful in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And because of that ability to know, we do believe. Even in our belief in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is based on knowledge. فَعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُوَ وَاسْتَغْفِرْ لِذَنْبِكَ. And have knowledge. Know that there is no God worthy of worship but Allah, and ask forgiveness for your sins. In other words, knowledge is about aqidah and amal. We know that we make mistakes. That's why we ask for forgiveness. We know that there is only one creator. So we worship none but the one who created us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. La ilaha illallah. That's based on knowledge. So our faith is not blind. We do believe not blindly, but on the basis of knowledge. So seeking knowledge is a must on every Muslim. طلب العلم فريضة على كل مسلم ومسلمة. This is the other criterion why every human being is dignified in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Al-karama, al-insani. The next reason why we are dignified by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because we are the creations that have been tasked for two main responsibilities. We have two main tasks in our life. And if you read the Holy Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, for example, The first commandment in the Holy Quran is about ubudiyah. Ya ayyuhan nasu ubudu rabbakum alladhi khalaqakum walladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. It's about ibadah, worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But after some ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then give us another task, another different responsibility. And that task is inni ja'alun fil ardi khalifa. The responsibility of khilafah means the responsibility of building this world to be a better place for everyone to live. Because this dunya is mustaqar ilahin, a place for us to live for a certain time. And every one of us is responsible to build it, to become a better place for everyone to live. So because of these two main responsibilities, al-ibadat and the khilafah responsibility, men have become dignified and honorable. Ibadatullah Azza wa Jal, in other words, that everything, single thing that we do in life is intended to worship Allah. But also at the same time, we have that sense of responsibility to keep this world, to make this world, to develop this world, to become a smaller heaven, to become a smaller Jannat or paradise for everyone to live. So everyone should feel tranquility, joy, happiness, peace, justice. That's what we must struggle for in terms of building this dunya. We must develop economy, but not economy that basically abuse the poor. The rich are becoming richer and the poor are becoming poor, more marginalized. We develop politics, but not the politics to abuse others, not only for power, but politics is to manage our collective life to become a better life for everyone to live their life. And others, every single aspect of human beings must be developed. That is our khilafah responsibility, in addition to our ubudiyah responsibility to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that what makes human beings are becoming dignified with karamat, with dignity. Because angels are only worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're making tasbih all the time. They're making dua all the time. They're making dhikr all the time. But they don't have that responsibility to build this world. These are the angels. The next reason why human beings are dignified, because we are free agents of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have freedom. And even in the aspect of aqidah and iman, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيُؤْمِنْ وَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيَكْفُرْ. We do believe because we know that it's a part of our responsibility to believe in our Creator. But if you do reject to believe, that's your own responsibility as well. It's about responsibility. Believe, and we accept faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because we are responsible for it. That is our right. But at the same time, we are responsible to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But at the same time, if you choose otherwise, because of the freedom that you have, then that's because of the responsibility as well. You're going to be responsible for it. The point here that we are honorable, we are dignified and respectful, we have karama or al-izzah because of that freedom that we have. And unfortunately, people are taking away others' freedom. Freedom in Islam is Allah-given freedom. And no one has the right to take the freedom from us but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is one of the most important essence of La ilaha illallah. That no one can enslave us but the one who created us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have a genuine, essential freedom. And no single creation can take it from us but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So al-ubudiyyah, we enslave ourselves to the one who created us as a part of that responsibility only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Other than that, we are free, and that is a genuine freedom. Now, some people are joking. Then if we are free, then why we have to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Because that's what we need. When the Japanese created Honda, that Honda is in need of the Japanese knowledge and power to do something if anything wrong with the car. So guidelines, how to drive it, how to maintain it, that belongs to the Japanese, because the Japanese people who created the Honda. Similarly, Allah created us, and so we must humble ourselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to rule our life. That He has a full authority on us to regulate our life. Freedom doesn't mean that we don't have any responsibility. Freedom without responsibility is irresponsibility. Because as long as we are alive here in this world, we have limitations, we have limits. It's called hudud in Arabic language. تِلْكَ حُدُودُ اللَّهِ فَلَا تَعْتَدُوهَا. So there is no such absolute freedom when we come to the creations. When we talk about absolute thing, any absolute thing just belongs to the creator of the heavens and the earth, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these are some reasons or basis why human beings are dignified in Al-Islam. Now, human dignity in Al-Islam is not only a theory or concept. In fact, every single aspect of Islamic teachings is intended to preserve our human dignity. From the concept of Aqidah, Al-Tawheed, to Al-Ibadat, to Al-Mu'amalat wal-Akhlaq, all these are intended to preserve our human dignity. Take, for example, as I mentioned earlier, the concept of Tawheed in Islam, believing in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That itself is sufficient to say that Tawheed is intended to preserve our dignity, because if we are not enslaving ourselves to the one who created us, that we tend to enslave ourselves to many things around us. And that's why many people are enslaving themselves to what? To their own desire, to materials, to dunya, to money, to position, to power, to popularity, to beauty, to their own beauty. So they're worshiping their beauty. Why? Because they lost the real enslavement, al-ubudiyya, and that is towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So believing in the oneness of Allah, la ilaha illallah itself, is one of the most important foundations of preserving our human dignity. The moment we lose our aqidah in Allah and our belief in the oneness of Allah, it means that we are going to be slave of many things around us. We're becoming slave of our own desire, of our own tendencies, our own unlimited wills and wants in this life. Luckily that we have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who is controlling our life. And we are really submissive to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We submit ourselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's what Tawheed is all about. La ilaha illallah. Coming to all commandments in Islam, Allah commanded us to do this and that. Every single commandment in Islam is intended to preserve our human dignity, our karamah. We are praying 5 times daily because that's what dignity is all about. Why? Because salat is the most important nourishment of our ruh, spirituality. And the moment people are weak spiritually, they are going to become slaves of their physical or material life. The only way to balance our life is when you have a strong ruh and spirituality. And salat is the most important way or means to preserve our spirituality, so that we can balance between our material tendencies, physical inclinations, al-ahwa, all different type of desires in life, to our own fitrah. That's the only way. And by protecting our fitrah, by protecting our spirituality, by enhancing our spirituality, we are basically protecting our human dignity. Because the moment we are losing our spirituality, we're becoming slave of materials and physical inclinations. And that time, basically, we are falling into even lowest to the low, to the lower and the lowest. You know, we are becoming even just like animals. Even sometimes become worse than animals. And this is not my language. The Holy Quran, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أُولَٰئِكَ كَالْأَنْعَامِ بَلْ هُمْ أَضَلُّ. They are like animals and even worse than animals. Why? Because they are spiritually weak or even lost and have become slave for their physical and material life. And at that moment, we are becoming not humans, we are becoming even less than animals. And it means we are lost, we have lost our karamat. So every single commandment of Allah is intended to preserve our human dignity. And every single thing that Allah prohibits in Islam is intended also to preserve our human dignity, our karamat. Just give you one example. Why zina is not allowed? Fornication or adultery is not allowed in Islam. And once the reason is because that is degradation. You know, no one basically does want to do that. And that's why the institution of nikah is very important in Islam. And if you read the Holy Quran, you'll see that every single thing related to the family is mentioned in the Quran. From the moment you are looking for the spouse, you know, the future spouse, until you engage in the nikah, until you married, until, you know, every single step in the family life is being regulated in Islam. And that's because Allah wanted to protect our human dignity, our karamat, our honor in that particular aspect of life, family life. All basic human rights in Islam are intended to preserve our human dignity. Because human rights in Islam is balanced. Al-Islam guarantee and grants humans their basic rights. But the difference between man-made rights and godly given right is that godly given right is so balanced and perfect in a sense that it doesn't make you go into the extreme right or extreme left. For example, just give you one example also. When you come to the issue of gender equal rights, gender equality, the equality, the right of our sisters or women to be equal to the men. You know, Islam provide that and guarantee that. And I often say, you know, even in Islam, you find that for certain reasons, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ gave more to the woman than to the man. Or even the Holy Quran talk even higher, more highly about women than men. And I want you to read the Holy Quran and read about the hadith of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. For example, when a man came to him and said, whom should I respect and love? He said, your mom, your mom, your mom. 3 times, then your dad. And then he said, Al-Jannah tahta aqdamil ummahat. Paradise lies under the feet of the mother. All these brothers and sisters basically represent the dignity of women, their honor and respect of the woman. But Al-Islam gives that right to the woman not to an extent that that woman is going beyond the limit. What is the limit? Because man and woman both have certain nature. And our natural creations are different. Sometimes we have different mental inclinations, but more importantly, physical differences that we have. And that's why there are some obligations that are not tasked to the man, but being tasked to the woman. And there are some obligations that are being tasked to the man, is not necessarily being tasked to the woman. It's about how to divide the responsibilities within the family life between man and woman. Not in the name of freedom, in the name of emancipation, in the name of gender equality, then our sisters are becoming forgetful of their basic responsibility at home as a wife and mother. And sometimes the sisters are, you know, don't think about the responsibility of raising the kids. because of that so-called professional career. I'm not here to say that you don't have to pursue your professional career, but don't forget, our sisters and mothers who are staying home, taking care of the kids, they are also professional in that sense. So professionality depends on how you judge it. Being professional doesn't mean that you have to work in the office and you feel bad, so bad, if you stay home and taking care of the kids. I don't mean it's not allowed to go out. I don't mean it's not allowed to become a director or a manager. No. I don't mean that. But there is a balance here. Not because of that professional career, and then you ignore the responsibility of the motherhood. That you don't care about the kids. How many sisters that don't want to breastfeed the kid? Breastfeeding. Because sometimes they worry about their beauty and in the name of beauty and so on and so forth. So my point here that in Islam, basic rights is really giving you human dignity. Because sometimes in the name of rights or human rights, that you are throwing yourself down to the law. You are becoming, less dignified. And we can see that many people around, that they are becoming disrespectful and dishonorable because of the right in the name of the rights. So again, it is very important to understand that Islam provides basic human rights, but all those basic human rights are intended to protect their dignity. There's another one in Islam why human dignity is very important. The concept of jihad and the concept of amar ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar in Islam, all these are intended also to protect our human honor and dignity. Jihad in a form of qital means war, for example. Islam allowed the Muslims to defend themselves. And the purpose behind that is to preserve our honor and dignity. We are not initiating jihad or qital, a war. But the moment we have to, and we must defend ourselves from any aggression, that is a part of one of the ways to maintain our dignity and honor. That's why jihad is important. Al-Maududi, for example, says that if there were the 6 pillars of Islam, then the 6th pillar of Islam is jihad, or amar ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar. Kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat lin-nas ta'muruna bil ma'ruf wa tanhauna 'anil munkar wa tu'minuna billah. So amar ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar is essential in our collective life, because that is the way to preserve our dignity and honor. Now, looking into the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam dignified his Sahaba equally. As you may know that from the very beginning of the Risalat, from the very beginning of the message of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Mecca, Rasulullah is followed by not only the Arabs, not only the Qurayshi, but also you have Bilal, Ammar, and others, Suhaib al-Rumi, Salman al-Farisi. And later on in Medina, you have a person like Abu Huraira, who is the most knowledgeable in the hadith. Abu Huraira, who came from outside of Mecca, from Ad-Daws, and that is one of the cities in Yemen at the time. Abu Huraira, all these Sahaba have become so honorable in the sight of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Rasulullah treated them equally. Of course, Allah knows the taqwa, because inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. But again, the dignity in Islam is not based on any physical appearance, any economic situation, or any political view. It is about taqwa Allah azza wa jal. Inna akramakum, the word akrama came from the word karamat, that the noblest of you in the sight of Allah are the most righteous one, righteousness. And righteousness is simply defined by your heart and action. The deepest iman that you have and the best action that you have, the best character that you have, you are becoming the most honorable. in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's what makes all these Sahabas equal, because they were not differentiated on the basis of physical appearance. Bilal was a black, formerly slave. When he became a Muslim, he became one of the most honorable Sahaba, that he was the first person to call to the Salat, climbing up to Kaaba to call to the Salat. So you can imagine how some Arab people felt at that time, how it is possible. A person who came from Ethiopia, a black person who was formerly, a slave, and he's the one who climbed up to the top of the Kaaba to call the people to pray. But that's what the honor in Islam is. There's human dignity, karamat. Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. Salman al-Faris, who came from Persia, and others. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam even dignified some of the people who used to treat him so badly. Still remember about the blind beggar who used to beg the people on the street? And he was a non-Muslim and blind at the same time. And he used to insult the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he told the people, be careful of this crazy person. Be careful of that person called Muhammad, because he's crazy. But he never met Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam because he's blind. Until one day the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed by him, and he also said to him, be careful of the crazy Muhammad. He's a magician. So Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to him and asked him, what is the food that he loved the most? He liked the most to eat. The most delicious food. And he told him. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came back to his wife and asked her to cook that food. When the food is ready, he himself, alayhi salatu wasalam, brought the food to him, not only to give him, but to feed him. And he never mentioned that he was a prophet until the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away. You know the story, of course, it's very popular. The point I'd like to mention here is that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam even still give respect to this so bad man. He still respects him. This is the way he honored people. I don't know why Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is so misunderstood by some people, those who are Islamophobic. And it looks like Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is so bad, so violent. But look at this. When the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam died, alayhi salatu wasalam, Abu Bakr knew what Prophet Muhammad used to do, means used to feed this man. Now Abu Bakr became the Khalifa, the Amir. He wanted to follow every single thing that Prophet Muhammad did in his life, during his lifetime. So Abu Bakr asked his wife to cook that food also. And he brought that food to him. He fed him too. Abu Bakr followed the Sunnah. This is the Sunnah in the Mu'amalat. That man took his hand. And he said, who is this? Abu Bakr asked him, why you asked? He said, because you are different from the person who used to come to me before. Abu Bakr asked him, what is the difference? He said, the person who used to come to me before is very gentle. He's a very, very gentle. Look at that. Abu Bakr was the most gentle person among the Sahaba. But this man testified that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is even more gentle than Abu Bakr Allahu anhu. That's the way Rasulullah ﷺ dignified and honored and respect every human being. He gave honor and respect to every human being, even to the one who insulted him. One day there was a janazah passed by him. He was with the Sahaba. And all of a sudden there's a janazah brought by some people. And the Sahaba knew that that janazah was a non-Muslim janazah, happened to be a Jew. And Rasulullah stood up. So the Sahaba asked him, why Rasulullah, why did you stand? According to their minds, not necessarily because he is not a non-Muslim. He's another Muslim. Rasulullah said to them, yes, but he's a human being. He's a human being. In other words, that every single human being deserves to be honored and respected. More particularly, Rasulullah ﷺ encourages the Muslim to support those who are marginalized in the society, to defend the rights of those who are weakened by the system, including racism, that we must defend the right of our brothers and sisters who are marginalized because of their difference. And we Muslims have experienced that how many of our non-Muslim friends are coming to our side to defend our rights as Muslims here in this community, in the society, because they know that we are human beings. We may have different beliefs. We don't believe in what they believe, and they don't believe in what we believe in. Lakum dinukum waliya din is very clear in the Quran. It's not the reason not to defend one another's rights. So when our black community brothers and sisters are being marginalized because of their skin color, that is our religious responsibility, moral responsibility, as a part of that human responsibility, to be a part of that struggle for racial equality, to fight against racism. That's what Rasulullah ﷺ advised the Sahaba, to be always to the side of those who are marginalized. إِنَّمَا نُصِرْتُمْ بِضُعَفَائِكُمْ. That you have to help to assist those who are weak, because you have been assisted by Allah for the reason that those who are weak among you. But sometimes we find the system that we live in, the system is supporting those who are powerful. So you can imagine in time of this COVID-19, those who are richer are becoming even richer. And those who are weak are becoming more marginalized because they are fired, they get, they lose their job, they lose their incomes. They have, daily incomes, they don't have anything to eat. But those who are rich, Amazon or Microsoft and whatever, all these people who are having a lot of money are becoming even richer and richer. That is the system that we live in. And I think it's a time right now to struggle together with like-minded brothers and sisters who are struggling for their rights to change the system. That's what the advice of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that is a part of human dignity, a part of human honor, a part of human respect, by defending those who are marginalized in the society. أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدعو اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين. In a nutshell, this surah is talking about the importance of proving our faith, not only by praying, but one of the most important ways to prove our faith is by defending those who are weak and marginalized in the society, the orphans, the poor, those who are discriminated against. We must defend them if we are believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Otherwise, we might be considered be lying to our faith, al-Islam. So brothers and sisters, my point here tonight is just to talk about the importance of issue in al-Islam, and that is human dignity, that how Islam treats every human being with dignity. And we must, first Muslims, treat one another with dignity and respect and honor. No matter who we are in terms of race and ethnicity, we must be Muslims, all of us, but also we are humans, all of us. And we must respect one another on that basis. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us and strengthen our faith. Inshallah, looking forward to seeing you again next time. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.